Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Imperial Senate Podcast, your daily fuck up.
This is how we do it.
We did 2 tests, one last night, one today, just to make sure that this would work perfectly. And on the actual go, we decided to record it so we could put it elsewhere on the podcast feed and such. And it decided to not work, hence the fuck up. So yeah, here we are.
I'm so glad that this happened. This was fun.
I'm your co-host, Charlie Ashby, and joining me as always is my lovely co-host Nicky and Clare. How are you doing?
Living.
Not too bad, Just trying to make it through.
Living that solitary life for now until tomorrow when I have to go back to work.
Haha, loser.
Yeah.
Womp.
I am a loser. I am the loser, the biggest loser.
Biggest loser.
No, but seriously, respect to everything you do. I like it when people just go from complete arsehole to sincere within about 5 seconds.
Yeah, well. I'm glad you think so. Anyway, love and life, having fun, not full of anxiety and stress, but other than that, getting by.
La vida loca.
I am living La Vida Loca, no doubt about that.
If we had a yearbook, Claire's line would be most likely to have corona.
It's so true, though. It's fine. I want to write a parody to my Sharona, but my Corona, about working in the healthcare field. I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm going to do it.
I saw Weird Al tweeted. He's like, I won't do it. I won't do it.
No, that would be so much better than mine, Weird Al. Did you see that someone wrote an entire, a parody to the entire song of Bohemian Rhapsody, but they did it about the coronavirus, about, not participating in social distancing. And so when Mama just killed a man because he walked outside and gave him coronavirus.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. The song is great. The song is great. I'll have to tweet it out because it's excellent.
I feel like you should sing it.
No, not enough wine for that.
Do we want to hear Claire sing this song? Answer in the chat.
Do you think I'll actually do it if you say yes in the chat?
You should.
Think about this one.
These are our listeners. These are the bread to our butter.
They're the bread to our butter?
Yeah.
I feel like they're the butter to our bread.
No, we're the butter. We're silky, smooth, yellow.
Chris.
Yellow.
Chris
coming in with an emphatic no.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. See, somebody likes me. Somebody cares about me.
Haley says she can't find butter in the grocery, which, boo to everyone stealing stuff.
But you can find it on the internet. You're welcome. Here's your daily dose of butter. Woo! We're not good for you in excessive amounts.
We'll give you cholesterol.
Yeah. We'll fatten you up.
That's smart balance.
Oh, is that our new catchphrase? We'll fatten you up.
Make you moist.
That we will.
So, if you guys want to ask us any questions, feel free to do it in the chat. We're here for, I think, 6 months? Doing a live show, just for 6 months.
I got nowhere to be.
There's going to be 2 hosts left.
Right.
Just based on, percentages. And what a depressing time.
Yeah, hope you all are finding ways to laugh and entertain yourself through the stress and uncertainty of this bizarre time we're living in. Mm-hmm. And I hope that we can help bring some levity to the weirdness. So, how about Star Wars, guys? Star Wars is pretty rad.
To some people, apparently. But to some of us, not.
To some people.
Makes me want to touch my face.
Nicky, what have we told you? Just because we're showing our
Not
faces doesn't mean you can touch them.
I'm not touching me. I'm not touching me.
This is bad.
Do you remember that when you used to do that to your siblings? I'm not touching you.
I don't know where that finger's been.
Bullying is
It's been
bad.
chilling with the Rona. Oh, God.
But yeah,
But anyway,
Yeah.
Star Wars
There you
stuff.
I hope you're all well.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What's going on in Star Wars land?
Yeah, the Clone Wars is back.
Woot woot.
It's back, baby.
And today, our queen, our princess, Ahsoka, returned. Which is pretty
Yes,
fun
she did.
because we got some breaking news, which is according to /film.
Season
Crazy.
2. Wait, is it season 2 or is it like not season?
I believe it's season 2.
I think it is, yeah.
So they would have already
Season 2.
filmed stuff.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Because they're done wrapping on the filming of season 2, right?
No, I think they broke.
Yay?
I think they had a
Yay?
break.
I thought they wrapped.
I don't know. I thought production
We
was still
are
going.
clearly your best news source.
Hey, reliable.
Hey.
Oh, let me just
But
call
that
Dave
does bring
Filoni.
up questions. What up, Davey? Davey boy. Yeah, so it does bring up a lot of questions as to how she's going to come into this series. Will it actually be Rosario Dawson? Because of Clayton Sandell responding to the rumor of, yes, Ahsoka will be in it. Is it Rosario? I have not had that confirmed. I heard that they were auditioning people. That's the last I heard. So.
Well, apparently,
So I don't know.
apparently the Hollywood Reporter followed up by saying it is Rosario Dawson. So it could be
Hollywood Reporter too. Okay.
It could be that was confirmed. Josh in chat says that Gina posted that they rapped on Instagram, so that makes sense.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
My
Thank you,
bad.
Josh. Wow, Charlie, you're trying to give the listeners misinformation.
It's like, please hang up. We've got this now.
Dave
We
Filoni
got it
has
covered, Charlie.
coronavirus, according to this report.
Oh, Lord. Hashtag fake news. But yeah, so that's exciting news on this Ahsoka episode of Clone Wars dropping day. It's just an Ahsoka-y day. I just want to Ahsoke in it. I'm
Soak
sorry,
it
that was
up.
really bad. I just want to Ahsoke it up.
Yeah, March 20th, Day of the Queen.
What
Yay.
a joke, Claire.
So, you can just leave me alone. It's fine.
You're getting booed in the chat by Chris.
Okay, I could do anything and Chris would probably boo it.
That's fair.
Except talk about High School Musical. Except turn this into the Imperial Senate of West High podcast. So, other than that.
So, you Sprocket says coronavirus filler episode in Mando season 2. That'd be great. It'd be like episode
That'd be
6 on the prison ship, but everyone is the coronavirus.
Didn't they do that on didn't they totally do coronavirus in the Clone Wars when like Jar Jar has to stop the
The
plague
Blue
from hitting
Shadow
Naboo?
Virus.
That's right. Maybe I should watch that today when we're
I know,
done.
right?
That'll be good, feel good episode.
Isn't that so much better than Contagion, though?
Yes.
Like, I don't
Oh my
get that.
God.
Apparently, that's the most like rented thing on streaming platforms now. I'm like, you guys are sadists. What the fuck is up?
Like why? I don't understand. I don't want to watch that right now. I am not joking. I think I've only watched Star Wars movies or television shows. I watched one documentary on Hulu. I watched the Hillary documentary and animated Disney movies.
Would you watch
Actually, the
Contagion if it was
Disney
animated?
Because I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, our resident biologist,
Osmosis Jones.
That's supposed that movie slaps.
Oh, dear
That
God.
movie does. Thank you for understanding my love for Osmosis Jones.
Our
Somebody had to.
resident biologist Sam says Contagion is actually scientifically accurate. But props a bad idea to watch it right now. Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
That's comforting. I'm so glad.
Is the blue?
It gives me more reason not to watch.
Sam, is the blue shadow virus arc, is that scientifically accurate? I'm worried about my Gungan friends. Because days are free, and I don't want anything to affect that.
Oh my lord!
Just means one of us has to go to one of the moons of Viego and get that little root shit, and then everyone's fixed.
Everyone's fixed.
But yeah,
Wow.
So I think we had Turbo asking in the chat, will it still be Ashley Eckstein's voice? I don't think that would be the case if they have an actress to play the physical role of Ahsoka. It seems a bit weird to
I would doubt
Rosario
it.
Dawson in.
It would. I don't think it would be like the Darth Maul situation, where it was just like a little snippet of a scene where they can sort of mix the two. I would imagine, her role would sort of require a bit more than a voiceover kind of thing.
I also
I'm just curious. I don't know how I feel about it either way, to be honest with you, because I think that the Darth Maul scene, normally I would just say right out no, and I think that Rosario Dawson's speaking voice, when she uses kind of her higher register, it's not that far off. However, when we had Alden playing Han Solo, he didn't really try to do the Han Solo voice, or the Harrison Ford voice. I don't think that we necessarily have to do that. So we have a track record of casting a different actor. Obviously, that's just 2 live action characters, so that's a little bit different. But then we do also have bringing the animated character back into live action and voicing. I don't know. I'm depending on the size of the role that we're giving Ahsoka, I can see it either way. But if Rosario Dawson's coming to play that character, it's not going to be a small little in and out. I doubt that.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
I think the difference with Darth Maul and Ahsoka is that, like, no offense, but Ray Park isn't exactly a thespian.
That is true. That is true.
I mean,
he's delightful. Not necessarily, yeah. He's not doing Shakespeare in his free time, that's for sure.
Kenobi.
So he isn't.
Come on, Kenobi.
He doesn't wake up. Doesn't wake up and just do Shakespeare soliloquies and stuff.
I would actually. Okay, shout out to Ray Park. If you can do one of your like workout montages that you always share on Instagram, but while it do like the Hamlet soliloquy, like to be or not to be shredded, it would be so good. So I mean, prove me wrong, please. I wouldn't watch that. I wouldn't dare. I would not. Me, no.
Alas, poor Savage.
I knew him well.
A horned skull.
A horned skull. Oh, gracious.
He's just doing Henry V as he's falling through the Naboo, the planet core. It's just like, once more onto the breach, dear friend. Whee!
Whee!
But yeah, I think my biggest issue with the whole Rosario Dawson stuff is obviously in the news recently. There was an allegation that her and her family were transphobic and attacked and said derogatory things towards a trans person of something that wasn't really in the news that much. But I remember a few months ago.
How did that fly under the radar?
Especially considering like the election going on and her boyfriend being Cory Booker, who it shouldn't be like, oh, this is her boyfriend, therefore we delve into that. But it's pretty relevant, I would say.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm, they're always trying to share the information with us that they're trying to be more inclusive and respect people of all races, sexes, sexual identities, and sexual orientations. That's kind of a slap in the face that is kind of saying one thing and then doing another altogether. But guess what? They've been doing that anyway, so it's kind of par for the course.
Showbiz,
not that it's okay. So, yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting little tidbit of news today. Very interesting.
The actual episode is going to have Ahsoka, like, saying something very distasteful, and it just cuts to there's 2 pilots from episode 9 kissing again. JJ's like, look what we did! Look what we did!
Remember, we did this! This makes it okay now! There is your representation. You're welcome. Oh, God. Like, dangle your little carrot.
What role do you guys imagine Ahsoka have in The Mandalorian?
Well, this was something I sort of talked about a few episodes ago. Like, I thought we kind of mentioned that, in my opinion, there's only 2 major story threads that they could go with, which was that the major storyline for the Mando and Baby Yoda would be the fact that he has to find people of his family. So it'd be like Jedi. In my opinion, at that certain time, there's only 2 specific groups you can go for. You can go for Luke Skywalker, or you can go for Ahsoka and Sabine. Ahsoka and Sabine made more sense because 1, these creators have worked with those characters a bit more in that space. 2, Dave Filoni, he created the character. 3, one is a Jedi, one's a Mandalorian. The perfect combination. Yeah. So I'm not really that surprised by this news.
I like that a lot, actually. That makes a lot of sense, to be honest with you. Bridging the gap between Mandos and Force users. It's interesting. Do you think we're going to take it? This is like totally far-fetched. I don't think it's going to happen before I pose this question. But just the idea is fun to play with because we've had that rumor about that animated series that's going to come out, the one that literally made us like have a waterfall of moisture on the podcast. Can you possibly imagine looking for Ahsoka and Ezra and Yoda's people out in the freaking outer regions? I don't even.
I agree.
I don't know where we're going with Star Wars. And at this point, it could be literally anywhere, in any corner and any team up. I don't know what's happening right now. And they haven't given us any other information. So now we're just free to go roam and speculate and be crazy people about it. So that would be that would be amazing. And that would give me a live action Thrawn potentially. And
here we go again.
I'm just saying.
Get Piers Brosnan on the phone now.
Paint him blue. Paint him blue.
Yeah.
Just saying, it'll be okay. I want to find it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested when you said about a group of Yodas, because I just assumed that when they were trying to find his family, it was it's just the Jedi in general wasn't specific. But are you expecting a field of Yodas?
You see, so when I watched through this series, you're right. They never say, I don't think they ever say, bring him back to his species, bring him back to his kind, I believe is the word that they're talking about, is the word that they use. But yeah, that could definitely mean the Jedi, but I always took it to mean his people, his species, his likeness in the galaxy. But I don't want to see a whole planet of Yodas, personally, because Yoda is... because first of all, my brain can't quite wrap around that. And also, I don't want to take away from how special these two and Yaddle are, and how rare. And I feel like that kind of does take away a little bit from George's mystique that he wanted to put around the character. But I don't know.
I remember seeing something where it was apparently George Lucas did consult on some And I feel like the only thing that someone like Jon Favreau would, let's talk to George about this, is what a Yoda is. Like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the only. So if they do explore it, I would feel more comfortable, because my impression that was the input was from George, and sort of things were defined by George, and then they were able to take that forward. But I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It is just like one of those things where it's like, do you want to actually start, putting things in concrete, or keep the mystery of the Yodai.
Yeah.
Because Turbo asked, what do you call a group of Yodas?
Oh my! A murder of Yodas.
Murder.
A council.
A council of Yodas.
Mine. I think they're called Yaddles.
A yaddle of Yodas?
Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Okay. So now my eyes are crossing. Is it like one of those Rey thing, like, I am all the Jedi, but that is Yaddle. She is all the Yaddle.
Yeah,
she is sitting there.
Baby Yoda is all the Yodas.
He is all the Yaddle.
Mine! In his head.
Oh my... Oh, God.
Yeah, so... That's gonna be fun.
Pretty crazy, huh?
yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
Wild and crazy time.
What a world.
But the Clone Wars, I haven't actually watched this week's episode. I know, tell me off.
You had
That's fine.
one job.
I was setting up this, this
One
He had
job.
one job. It wasn't to set up the stream. It was to watch the episode.
I need to watch it again, because I watched it late at night, and I don't think it's the episode's fault. I don't think it's the episode's fault, but I did while I was watching it.
Podcast host says Dave Filoni should give up. That's my other favourite thing about this news was everyone complaining about Ahsoka being inside again and saying stuff like, typical Dave Filoni. Like, one, it makes sense for this character to be in this show. Two, it's fun. Who gives a shit? Three, calm down. I put a tweet earlier that took the piss out of it, saying like, typical typical Dave Filoni making Jon Favreau write what he wants to write. But I meant like him forcing Jon Favreau to write what Jon Favreau wants to write. And I think people just meant.
I'm sure that's how it went.
Yeah, I was like, no.
I feel like Jon Favreau is exactly the kind of guy to say, "Oh my God, let's bring it."
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that time you kicked my ass?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Filoni's doing all this secret bullshit mind tricks on Jon Favreau.
What's she doing?
It's the cowboy hat. He wears it to hide the antenna underneath the mind control device. But yeah, I just want to take this moment to remind all of you, as a public service announcement, the Force is female, and Rey and Ahsoka are Mary Sue's.
Oh, bless you.
You're welcome. In case you needed a reminder.
Peace be upon you.
Thank you, child.
So, women can't be Jedi, and Ahsoka is an annoying little kid with no character development at all. And I don't believe a single word that I'm saying, in case anybody isn't familiar with me. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the Ahsoka hate. As someone who has actually finished this episode and not fallen asleep, no shade, Nikki, no shade.
Oh, that seems like shade to me.
No shade at all. This,
Straight
as much
up
as I
facts.
love her, straight up facts. As much as I love her, this was not my favorite episode for her or for the Clone Wars in general. This is easily my least favorite of the season so far. However, I didn't dislike it. There's a lot of things that I think were important to Ahsoka's journey now in this transition where she's going from Jedi life to being a normal human and having to balance being a Force user and living in normal human life where not everybody necessarily agrees with the views of the Jedi, and where simply using the Force makes people associate she's a Jedi with you. Which is controversial in the middle of a war. It's judging on appearances. It's just, which are clearly not true, as she disagrees with a lot of what's going on with the Jedi right now. Obviously, she pieced out, but there are things about this episode I liked. It didn't wow me like the Bad Batch arc wowed me. But I didn't hate it. I had fun. I'm blanking on their names, but they're so beautiful. I loved
Trace and like
they're
Chases
and
you're thinking
I'm
of
a big fan. I watched.
It begins with an R.
You're thinking of Echo and Hot Case.
Yes. How did you know? They make an appearance in this one. I love the underground. I love that very mildly explored region of Star Wars, and I hope we get more of it. But anyway,
yeah,
I feel you guys like it.
I feel you. It was like, for me, yeah, like Bad Batch was extremely my shit.
It's hard to top that. That was just.
It's like
every note hit for me. Yeah,
that's like the like sort of. I love the clone stuff for the Clone Wars. And I've been waiting, years to see those fully visualized.
Yeah.
And then I like this episode. It was solid. But yeah, I think it's also got that problem of, or not problem, but like this thing of, we know it's abridged kind of the story we're waiting for, which is this big epic Mandalore bullshit that Maul's doing. And so I think that's just one little thing about it. If someone is just sort of like less enthralled by it, it's probably just because it kind of feels like we're still waiting to get somewhere.
Yeah.
I thought the episode was fine though.
We're taking a breath before the storm. It's the calm before the storm. Before the plunge. Thank you. I rewatched The Lord of the Rings recently.
There you go. Trace and Rafas. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. We are fake fans, so we appreciate the podcast. Thank you, chat room.
I haven't watched it yet, so that doesn't count. I'm still a fan.
So Charlie is a fake. He's confirmed.
How dare you? So yeah, people in chat, if you want to ask us some questions, we'll be answering them as we go along, but the more the merrier. We got some stuff to talk about.
Things and stuff.
And that's a thing called the sequel trilogy, which, is it's all summed up. Like, every single film from the sequel trilogy is out on digital. Apart from the JJ cut.
The JJ cut.
So yeah, I'm interested in what we think about the sequel trilogy overall. This is something we've always dreamed about, thought about, and it's there now. It's out there. It's had controversy. It's had applause. People have cried over the films. People have laughed over the films. People have complained. What's our thoughts on the overall final sequel trilogy?
The legacy of the sequel trilogy.
Oh. I like Mark's JJ Claude butthole cut. That would be lovely.
That's how Claude fixed that panel. Did it with his butt.
Wow! Got a little R2D2 in the background.
Ooh.
Don't touch it. Wash your hands.
Oh, God. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Even though I've touched my face 80 times during this podcast and you've all seen it.
Do you think Claude's butthole looks like Bob Iger?
Yes.
Okay, that's all we've got time for this week.
I do this podcast voluntarily.
Claire didn't used to drink before she started podcasting with us.
Oh, no, not a drop.
She was a nun.
I was a nun. Look how far I've fallen.
Turbo asks, how would Claude wipe his butt? Great question. We are loving these questions.
That is...
He just drags it on the floor.
Oh,
it's dog dragging along the carpet style, which means I'm so sorry if he's staying with you. That's unfortunate.
How did you...
Someone had so I post at the Falcon on fire because Claude's shit was just... And he's like, someone just clean it up, please.
Disinfect it with fire.
Yep.
Burn it.
How'd it go? Real bad.
Oh, no.
There's no more toilet paper because the galaxy had coronavirus. Somehow, COVID-19 has returned. Do you think,
God,
like the Falcon? That's why the interior is all brown.
Week.
He's like just wiping that on everything. No more yellow chairs.
It's definitely Han.
I'm gonna abstain from this question. I'm uncomfortable by it.
So yeah, appraisal of the sequel trilogy.
We've made it back. Thank you. Yes, it was.
It's hard to say. It's like, it's one of those things where I feel like we're still kind of close to it. To like fully feel it, especially with Rise of Skywalker. It's still sort of fresh, especially with having just come out. It's one of those things where your opinion, I think, changes distance, and when it's just sort of like, when it has embedded itself as normality. But I think, just speaking, I've loved this trilogy so much. I loved the characters it introduced. I thought our legacy characters had sort of like saga high moments and performances, and that's the really awesome thing to have. So yeah, I know I love it, and I think it's like I have different relationships with each of the movies, but all of them have left. I think it's like all three of them have challenged my expectation and turned into an exercise in sort of like adapting and kind of rolling with something you love and making sure that even when something knocks me the wrong way, to just sort of like go with it and sort of accept it. It's like I don't know, I don't get too mad over. And the one time I did get really mad at something, I didn't like who I became, so I stopped being mad about it. Hashtag Game of Thrones. So yeah, I think I don't know. I'll always sort of cherish these three movies, even the parts when they went way off what I was hoping they'd do. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it. And I think with distance, it'll sort of embed into normality, and that'll of course change how we see these things. It's like I can't imagine. Like I wonder what it's like for people who like watched Empire Strikes Back and then watched Return of the... No, like, Leia's her sister. This is a complete retcon rewrite bullshit. And it's like, but for us, when we just grew up with it, like it just is, So it's like eventually I feel like the sequel trilogy will go in that direction. It'll go closer to how we.
What about you, Claire?
Yeah. I have a difficult and tumultuous relationship with one chapter of the sequel trilogy, and we all know that I've spoken my piece on it. Watching it at home helps. I think the more that I see it, the more I'm going to continue to make peace with it. I think that it's like history repeating. It's like what George said to Ahmed Best after the reviews of episode 1 came out. It's just the people they're gonna be mad and they're gonna yell, but in time, those kids that grew up with it, there's gonna be a resurgence of love, and you're going to feel it. Eventually, you will. And going to these conventions and talking to small kids who have gone to see these movies, like at the clinic I work at, occasionally I do have to, I have very small patients every now and then. And if there's like a kid in a Star Wars t-shirt, oh, you bet your butt, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's talk. Who's your favorite character? What's your favorite Star Wars movie? What are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. And the one thing that continues to amaze and surprise me is how much these kids have connected with these new characters, especially Rey, which, come on. How do you not love Rey? It's Rey, man.
I would lay down my life for Rey.
For real, though. Like, I would. She's amazing. But it's going to be really neat to watch these kids who are like us watching the prequel trilogy when we were youngins in the theaters and growing up. And it's all going to be with distance and time. I know I'll find more appreciation for The Rise of Skywalker specifically. I love The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi it rotates in my top 3 to 4 favorite Star Wars movies of all time. Like, there's a lot that the sequel trilogy has brought us. It's asked a lot of very interesting questions about what is the Force? What can the Force do? What is the legacy of the Skywalker name that we have just been so focused on for 6 films or 8 films previous to this? It's like, it really, in time, it's going to be different. Right now, it's still too fresh, and I look forward to when things go on and new Star Wars content comes out and people hopefully, fingers crossed. I know that's not necessarily the case with The Last Jedi because people are still screaming into the void about that too. But I look forward to when things start to die down a little bit and we have something else to distract ourselves with, because I still love these movies. I still love the sequel trilogy, even though the last one is not my cup of tea. But it's brought us so many things that are super interesting and so many new questions, and it's all good, guys. Like, I think that we're going to be nicer to it as a community in the long run is, I think, the point I'm trying to make with that.
Well, I mean, that kind of happened with the prequels, right? Where it's like,
yeah.
And even just like random it always happens with everything. It's like when Indiana Jones the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had its like 10 years, and there were all these articles. Ooh. Is it time to reassess Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? And it's like, it always happens. Time develops perspective, and you're like, why was I really that mad? Yeah. It's one of those things. But yeah, this trilogy is really, I think, especially for people our age and younger, I think a very like special time or a special trilogy, because I always think about how when Phantom Menace came out, and again, like older fans will be like, oh, why is this little boy here? I was like the same age as that little boy.
Yeah.
And that is cemented that. And I also sort of feel the same way with this, where it's like now I'm around the same age as John Boyega and Daisy Ridley and whatnot, and I kind of still connect in that way to them, and kind of feel like, and basically anyone our age who's kind of the story of our world is dealing with the last generation's bullshit. So yeah, I think it's really cool to have, for people our age to have lived through all these, because we've had these sort of like touchstone, just with our age, like we can really like grasp the heroes of the stories. So yeah, that's
Definitely.
why it'll always be special.
I think for me personally...
What about you, Charlie?
Yeah. I like episode 9 more than I like most people. Like...
That's fair.
It's a mess, but it's a fun mess. And if that's not...
It is fun.
Yeah. And if that doesn't sum up humanity in a nutshell, then I don't know what does. I think the biggest issue about the sequel trilogy is that it had to carry a lot. It had to carry the legacy of the original trilogy. It had to carry the weight of the prequel trilogy and the perception of the prequel trilogy. Because we can talk about how people mistreat the prequel trilogy forever, but the perception of it is that was the mainstream feeling, even though that wasn't the case. And so they had to deal with that. Also, it had this successful period of prequel trilogy content with the Clone Wars, and also they had to juggle the whole thing that was George leaving Lucasfilm, it being a completely fresh thing. And that's the struggle, I think, that was the biggest issue for this era. And I think that, personally, that's one of the downfalls of the trilogy. Not in the... I love the sequel trilogy, like, overall. It's great. But I feel like if George was involved, there'd be a thread between all three films that would have been a bit more tighter. Some decisions, I think, wouldn't have been made. Like, I loved The Last Jedi, but I still think that the immediate pickup point is a mistake.
Yeah, I can see that.
Even if time had moved on in episode 8, so maybe it starts off at the end of episode 7, and then there's a time difference there. I don't know. I think overall it's got a great message. And it, like you said, Nicky, to deal with the fact that the previous generation shit is still around, and we've got to deal with it, which is always, spot on. I think it's great for dealing with the alt-right stuff that's going on, and how there's a lot of young people influenced by propaganda and manipulation. I think that's interesting that we see a character like Finn who breaks out of that mold and shows kids that they don't have to necessarily follow the misinformation that we see in some history books around the world. And I think overall it's just a great, Rey is such an amazing character to have as a role model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always love that line from Force Awakens about how, it's the same fight, and evil's just the same, different faces over.
I see the same eyes in different people.
Yeah, and yeah, and I think JJ said it in the Rise of Skywalker documentary about balance isn't a fixed point. You don't achieve it once and then it's fixed forever, right? I think it was him. I didn't watch it. I think so. I think I'm just referencing this off
You
a clip.
guys gotta watch it. It's so good. It's
when it's
so
out.
good. I liked it better than The Rise of Skywalker. I ugly cried through the whole thing.
One of those things for me, I waited a year before I watched Director. It's I don't know. I just needed I wasn't ready to go in and feel those things.
You needed space.
Yeah, I needed just time before I jumped in and felt those emotions. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. But yeah, I think that's one of the lessons of picking the story back up, is that what war ever ends all wars? It's like it's always a struggle to you know, to fight the wrong, fight what's wrong, and stand up for. And I always thought that was a really interesting part of like Luke, right? It's like he has his moment in Return of the Jedi or it's like, oh yeah, he achieved Jedi Nirvana or whatever, and then he ultimately, like, he has to face that darkness again in Last Jedi or in the flashback, and he fails because it's like it's a constant struggle. It's not like one thing you just achieve once and you're perfect forever.
No matter what happens, new challenges, new struggles are gonna face you, and you have to continue to fight through them and make the right choices. For sure.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah. So the value of the trilogy. I remember we had a one of our Rise of Skywalker episodes. I was like, so what? So did this trilogy even mean anything? And I'm like, yeah, I think it meant a lot. So, whether you like it or not, you can't. It had messages that I think are very important.
Yeah. Sorry, it looked like I was rolling my eyes, but the cat woke up and stretched and was looking at me like. So I had to make eye contact. I was looking at it.
Do you want to give does Dookie want a cameo?
It looks like he's about to hop up. Come on up here, man. Woo!
Oh, hello.
There he is.
Hey, Dooku.
The Count.
Lord Tyrannus has woken up from his nap.
That's his pajamas.
There you go. He needs... Seriously, I have been saying this. Like, if anybody makes any cosplay or makes any cat Halloween costumes, get me exquisite pajamas for this dang cat. He needs them. Absolutely. Look at him. He's naked. He needs pajamas. I'll give you his measurements.
Dark witches, come into my bed. Steal my pajamas.
No. Oh, God. He's trying to drink my wine.
Social isolation.
No.
This has become too much for the Count or Serrano.
like mother, like son.
Bad influence.
Yeah, I am a bad influence. He knows that.
But yeah, we've got about... I'm going to give us 5 more minutes, and then we're going to head off. So if you want to get your questions in now, do that. We'll answer them.
I saw one from Andy. That was... Let me find it again.
Okay,
so
before
I can read it
you find that, and before we do that, I'm just going to show everyone that if you head to tpublic.com, you can pick up our amazing array of shirts, as you can see here. We've got a lovely Space Slut t-shirt.
This is not an Imperial Senate shirt. Sorry.
No one's ever really gone t-shirt. We've got the main sort of logo t-shirt. We've got our main symbol t-shirt. We've got the Moist t-shirt. And a really old classic, Do You Want to Build a Death Star? So if you want to pick up our sort of great content, do it now. I think there's a discount still on.
Be a space slut.
Be a slut. Be a slut. I love my Space Slut shirt.
We'll cut back to the video. Nicky, can you show them what you're wearing right now?
Oh, yes. Whoa. Space slut.
What up, slut?
Look at my titties.
Emma, can we cut that and make that into like a YouTube promo?
Just him going, look at my titties.
Look at my titties. Yeah, it's a dope shirt. Everyone, and it's got the logo on the back. It's pretty. All right, I got Andy's question.
Do it.
So, guys, what's been your go-to Star Wars content? Dark time.
Behind the scenes content. Heck yeah. That's mainly what I've been watching. That, and I watched a little Resistance. I still have not finished season 2. So I'm working on that. And Clone Wars, Resistance, and the behind the scenes stuff. That's really what I've been watching as far as Star Wars goes. And it's been rad.
I guess since the dark times, I've
Dark times.
let's see, what the hell have I... Oh yeah, I guess I watched some episode 9 when that came out on digital. Been watching Clone Wars, of course. I got into like a little Rebels run as well.
Nice.
It sort of like started at one point in like season 3 and just kind of a mini marathon. But yeah, honestly, I'm trying to think. I have some Star Wars that I'm building. That's kind of my Star Wars content. I got one here.
Oh, heck yeah.
The noises.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, so that's probably the premium content I'm working on. I got a lot of stuff that I need to finish.
Cool. For me, I have been watching Rebels again. I can't remember who said it in the chat, but if you want to reply again, I've been watching Rebels again, and I just forgot how much I love the show. Like, I really do love the Clone Wars, but I still think I might stick by Rebels being my favorite animated show.
That's where I land to.
Clone Wars. Woo! It's got Lord Tyrannus.
But Rebels has so much like character, and like I love Clone Wars for being a sprawling, like it can be anything, like it can focus on any character. But I think the focused family element of Rebels really hit for me, and I really, really do enjoy Ezra. And seeing just that character arc, like the little Lothrat grows up to be this amazing like inspiration, like not only on LaForge but around the galaxy. I just love that story. I love
it's the Luke Skywalker story in a lot of ways, you know. Kind
of, yeah, but like a lot of
in
layer.
Feeling, not in execution. Yeah,
a lot of layer
and a lot of
like,
layer, yeah.
Inspiration and
leading the rebellion.
And also,
that's what I love too. The street rat in episode 1 to literally facing down the evil emperor of the galaxy, and
yeah,
like that is a Star Wars fairy tale, right?
Yeah,
and I really do like as well those Vader episodes are awesome. Like every time I watch it, just the like sound effect and everything is just perfect. Also, I've got with me an old friend. If you want to say hello.
Yeah.
My little pit droid.
So cute.
Hit the note.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not paying attention to you.
It's okay. I'm used to it now.
Talking to the
yeah.
cat. Don't worry.
Emma says, I remember when everyone was attacking him for being an Aladdin copycat. But I kind of liked that, because it kind of influenced, it had the Disney elements without it being a complete, like, he clearly wasn't Aladdin. Like, it's Star Wars.
What do y'all have against Aladdin, okay? What's wrong with Aladdin, people?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like Kanan came out of a...
Mr. Ezra, dear.
Lawful nights.
Oh gosh, more often than not, they're hotter than hot.
One jump ahead of Zeb.
Oh dear.
Oh, Rebels. I miss it dearly.
So I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but if you like, I have to say I don't know if he's in the chat, but Ben is our hero, and the amount of bumps that Ben has to cut out from Claire just
Yep.
like punching the microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. It's my mic stand. It has like little springs on it. It makes noise.
Boom.
And now you got to see it happen firsthand.
It's like a whole situation.
It is a whole situation.
Haley Solo says, I'm glad they stopped the Sabine Ezra romance before it had time to start. Yeah, I kind of liked those two characters, and I wouldn't have but I do realize that obviously, like, if you throw a stone, you're probably likely to hit a straight person. So I get it, like, you know.
And some of those straight people deserve to get hit with stones. So everybody go get your stones. Go get it going.
Are you saying that we should go back to stoning?
I'm not saying that. I've had worse ideas.
I'd like to.
My only thing about that is I understand that I too, if I were to walk onto the ghost, would probably develop a crush on some.
Same.
But I think, no, the way they developed is to sort of siblings. It's just.
Mm-hmm.
Stone people who don't wash their hands. That's right, Haley Solo. If you listen to the show and you're not washing your hands, then you can get out of it.
Yeah.
You get out of it, yo. You're crazy. I'm doing my American accent again. It's not American.
It's really accurate, Charlie.
Is it?
Just like
this. Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here.
What are you talking about? Joey? You
a bridge troll? Are you living under a bridge in New York City? That's what you sound like.
Give me 20 cents and you can pass the Brooklyn Bridge, Joey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Charlie's found his calling in life.
Give me a bagel. Trying to think of just stereotypes now.
Need a slice, 99-cent slice.
Yeah, pizza. I fucking love pizza. Tell me what we can do an Aussie accent. I don't want to do an Aussie accent. I feel more like self-conscious about trying to do Aussie.
Just do the Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. That still has me shook.
Daisy Ridley. Is that good enough?
Daisy Ridley here.
That was good.
Charlie Bridge Troll is going to starve with the current New York City shutdown. Where the hell is everyone? Give me 20 bucks. I'll eat your kids.
Oh my goodness.
I imagine all trolls in New York City are just landlords. Yeah, but gentrifying.
With nobody able to go to work nowadays, I feel like every landlord is going to become one of those trolls.
we have a complete set of Ko-fi links for landlords.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
What a world we live in.
Landlord patrons. But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for. We're hitting an hour. I think that's good enough, isn't it? To test out this.
Does anyone have one last thing to run?
Yeah, one last question. We'll answer one last question if anyone. The first one.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Bless you, child.
Should we mention what made us moist this week?
Could do. I know what made me moist this week. It was recording 2 commentary episodes with my buddies, Claire and Nicky. Yeah, so
that was pretty cool.
For people that don't know, we haven't done a sort of episode talk about episode 7 and 8 of The Mandalorian. And the reason for that, is because we had a lot of stuff going on. So we decided that now that we're in Corona Land, why not just do 2 commentaries? So we've done 2 commentaries for both episode 7 and 8 of The Mandalorian on the Free Blurgs. That'll be out this weekend, so pay attention to that. It's pretty fun. You can watch the episodes with us.
Watch them while you're stuck inside. Might as well revisit 2 freaking awesome episodes of Star Wars television.
Should that be our collective moistness?
I think so.
Good idea.
Yeah. It really was. It was a good time.
Geek Andy says the best line for an Aussie accent, I like my hat. I've heard that, but I can't do it. Oh, I like my hat, mate.
I like my hat. I like my hat.
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
You can do it. That was good.
There's not enough alcohol in me to not be self-conscious enough to do it full on. So how about this, Andy? I will continue drinking because I cannot drive and I am stuck inside. And then I will I'll send you a video, Andy. I'll be trying to do an Australian accent.
I can be a Patreon bonus.
Patreon bonus. There we go. I'll post it to the Patreon is what I just said.
Patreon. That's where we, if you sign up for $5, we all bake a bagel.
We all bake a bagel? You're making bagels? Who makes bagels at home?
The troll.
Bagel makers?
Yeah, bagel makers.
Bagel makers. All right. How dare I discriminate against the bagel makers? I've lost all of our bagel maker listeners in that one comment, and I'm sorry.
Claire, when we brought you on, we said the one thing is don't get us canceled from the bagel community. and here you are. Year of our Lord, 2020.
It's been fun being a part of this show now that I've been canceled.
Again.
One of the many cancellations.
If you have any issues with this week's episode of the Imperial Senate Podcast, please contact Claire on Twitter at @cstrips. She will take all...
Oh, seriously? Yeah.
Please DM her.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you ever
don't slide in my DMs.
If you see any negative Fallacious Crumb
I won't answer anyway.
stuff, just tag Claire. She loves it. She loves answering all that stuff.
Wait, any what Salacious Crumb content?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love Salacious Crumb, and I love Salacious Crumb content.
Yeah.
Tag me in it.
Negative stuff.
If you see any cool merchandise on sale, tag me in it. Send the eBay links my way.
She's like, don't have anything else to do.
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Salacious Crumb corset. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna wear it for celebration.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not picturing a cosplay in my head that I totally need to do now.
No, I'm doing it. You can't steal my idea.
Can we all dress up as Salacious Crumb in corsets at Celebration Anaheim? Provided we are not...
Can we human centipede it? I'll be the head.
Oh, of course. I'll be the head. Just volunteers to be the head. Okay, yeah. No, I will fight you to the death over that one, Charlie. Oh, God. Here we go.
That'd be some good stuff.
If you're the end, you get the most bang for your buck there.
Is that how we're ending this live show?
I do this podcast voluntarily.
You make it sound like it's a bad thing. This is a prison.
The problem is, I want to understand Nikki's reasoning behind it, but I really don't as well. It's like you want to say why, but also you really don't want to know.
Some things are better left, to your own imagination.
You're right.
But I do think, if you're all paying the same price to admission, like you may as well get the most content.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. That seems like a fair point to end the Star Wars podcast.
It's just good business.
Depends on how your manners are.
You're not helping me with this don't touch your face stuff, Nikki. Oh, God. Okay.
Be careful, because you've got coronavirus. You could give it to yourself.
I do. Actually, to be fair, we're joking. I don't actually have it. I just work in healthcare, which means I'm very high risk. So
yeah, for clarification.
I don't actually have the corona, but what is happening to my life? Only a matter of days. Hashtag Corona Watch 2020.
Well, yeah, I think that's all we've got time for this week. So yeah, stay tuned. This weekend we're going to be dropping some Free Blurgs episodes, and we'll probably do some more live shows next week, maybe.
Shelter at home, everyone.
Hell yeah.
Yes, shelter at home.
I don't know if
it's all fine. We've got all these live things. Just stay at home and you can hang out with us, do all the
and record content, and life is good, man.
I think next time we might try and do some audio stuff only, but still have it live. So we'll see how that goes.
That way I don't have to bathe. So that might be okay.
If you like watching us live, feel free to watch us. That'd be nice. Also, please spread the word that you've been doing. Like you watched this. Please tweet that this was fun. And next time,
that's one thing you can spread.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please spread
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've been infected with Imp Senate 19.
Yes.
Technically, Imp Senate 20 if you want to.
infect our name with as much as you want.
We're coughing into your mouth.
Touch your face with our name.
We're coughing into your ear holes.
We're peeing in your eyes with the message of love. So, if you want to help support us, don't forget you can go to tpublic.com, which we can show you here. Our amazing merch, that Space Slut shirt, pretty good. I designed it, so I know. Claire's favourite, no one's ever really gone. Chris Hall,
'cause they're not.
Amazing artist, designed that for us, so,
We love you, Chris Hall. You're incredible.
And also, don't forget, Patreon, We've got some Patreon stuff. You can become a patron and we can, do fun stuff like this. If it wasn't for you, this would not happen. So thank you. Claire, what are you doing? You look ashamed of me.
Am I ever not, though, my dear?
That's fair, I suppose. But yeah, so if you spread the word, that'd be great. Thank you for coming on. You too. You beautiful people.
Thank you for
Thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you for inviting us on our own podcast.
It's really nice of me to do that.
It really was very generous of you.
Next time we should try and have some guests on. Maybe we can do some.
Yes.
Maybe we can do something. If you join the Discord, which you should do, by the way, because it's fun.
We got Discord. We got patrons to service.
Yeah, if you go on, we can have some guests hop on. So do that. Again, thank you for listening, and it's time to say goodbye. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for hanging.
Bye.